Imagine for a second, you're walking up a mountain on a really warm late spring afternoon.
Sounds like a pretty nice hike.
Right, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then you find a door cut into the rock face. You open it, step inside, and suddenly you are standing in a freezing walk-in freezer.
Wait, like actual ice?
Ice everywhere, just unmelted, unexplainable ice, totally isolated from the warm climate outside.
That is definitely not normal.
No, not at all. Now, I want you to imagine that same localized glitch, but happening on a massive global scale, like a glitch big enough to swallow up whole Navy bomber squadrons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Scrambling modern technology and literally bending dinner forks.
Welcome to today's deep dive. Today, for you, the learner, we're unpacking an incredibly wild argument about one of the world's most famous geographic anomalies.
We are, of course, talking about the Bermuda Triangle.
Exactly. And the source document we're diving into today is just, it's fascinating.
It really is. It's multi-layered and completely unique because it essentially attempts to build this, unified theory of the unexplained. Right. It doesn't just stop at ships going missing.
No, it starts with a very personal, ground-level travel anecdote in China, then navigates through centuries of curated maritime history.
And then it just escalates.
It absolutely escalates. It culminates in a staggering extraterrestrial origin story for Earth's entire geographical layout.
It is a massive narrative progression. We're going to explore how the author scales this local folklore all the way up to a global mystery.
And just to set our parameters clearly right at the top for you listening, we are impartially reporting on the highly unconventional theories this source presents.
Yeah, that's a great point. We aren't here to, validate or debunk ancient extraterrestrial blueprints.
Right. We aren't taking sides. We're simply your guides through the architecture of the author's argument. We want to explore the specific mechanisms they claim are operating right now beneath the ocean.
We're basically looking at the underlying logic here. Like, how does the author build this case? And more importantly, why do they connect these specific anomalies together?
So before we jump into the really deep waters of the Atlantic, the author actually grounds us with that walk-in freezer concept you mentioned earlier.
Oh, right. The mountain in China.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They introduce a personal story about how human beings interact with the unexplained on a micro level. So over 20 years ago, the author is hiking Sear Mountain in Zhangjiakou City, Hebei province.
And just to clarify, it's late spring, right? The weather is warm.
Yes, warm weather. But on the half slope of this mountain, they find these 3 square caves right next to each other.
And they're small, like maybe a meter wide each.
Right. And these are highly specific, highly localized environments. The first cave has a freezing cold wind blowing directly out of it.
Okay, weird, but maybe there's a draft.
Sure. But then the second cave just has drops of water falling into a small pool. And the third cave, it is completely filled with blocks of ice and ice edges.
Wait, in late spring?
In late spring. No wind, no water in that one, just solid unmelted ice despite the warm season outside.
Walking past these is like walking down a perfectly normal residential hallway and finding a wind tunnel, a shower, and an industrial freezer behind 3 consecutive doors.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
I mean, if I see that, my first instinct is to look for the condenser coils, I'm looking for the mechanism making it happen.
Right, you want the mechanical explanation.
Yeah.
But when the author asks a local about this anomaly, the local just shrugs it off.
They don't care about thermodynamics.
Not at all. To the people living there, it's not an impossibility. It's simply the wind cave, the water cave, and the ice cave.
The local even explains that Sayre Mountain is a, quote, mountain of blessings.
Yeah, the tradition is that kowtowing, bowing deeply in front of these specific caves, grants you sons in the future.
Which is funny because the author humorously notes that their own son might actually be the result of their frequent visits.
It's a great little detail.
Yeah.
But the narrative purpose of this anecdote is crucial for what we're doing today.
Why is that? Why start a piece about the Bermuda Triangle with a story about a mountain in Hebei?
Because the author is actively establishing a framework for you. They are demonstrating their own open-mindedness to geographic mysteries.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, they're simultaneously contrasting this localized, benevolent anomaly, the mountain that gives you sons, with the massive malevolent anomaly we are about to discuss.
They are framing an architecture of anomalies. Like, if a localized, unexplainable weirdness can exist on a friendly scale in Hebei defying the physics of weather, then it stands to reason that localized weirdness can exist on a terrifying global scale elsewhere.
Exactly. The author is basically priming us to accept that the map of the world is not as fixed and rigid as we think it is.
Which brings us to the malevolent side of the coin, Bermuda. The source immediately drops these heavy
Oh
nicknames.
yeah, they don't hold back. The Devil's Triangle,
The ship and aircraft graveyard.
the black hole of the Earth.
Those nicknames suggest an active, consuming force, rather than just a treacherous stretch of water with some bad storms.
And the author defines this zone geographically. They outline it from Bermuda in the north to Puerto Rico in the south to the Florida Peninsula in the west.
Okay, but hold on. I have to flag a massive geographical contradiction in the source text right here.
I was wondering if you caught that.
I mean, in the very same breath that it draws a triangle using Florida and Puerto Rico, which sit firmly in the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, the text explicitly claims that Bermuda is an archipelago of more than 360 islands located in the Pacific Ocean.
Wait, the Pacific Ocean?
Yes, the text actually says the Pacific Ocean.
That is a glaring factual error in the real world.
Yeah.
But if we analyze what this document is trying to achieve, that geographical slip is actually incredibly revealing.
How so? It just seems like a mistake.
Well, it proves that the Bermuda Triangle operates in this narrative more as a conceptual zone than a strict cartographical one.
Oh, like a mythological space.
Exactly. The exact GPS coordinates matter less than the boundary where normal reality just breaks down.
That makes sense. Blurring the oceans almost reinforces the disorientation. You don't even know what ocean you're in anymore.
Right. The physical geography is secondary to the death reputation the zone holds. And to justify that terrifying reputation, the author doesn't just give us a standard timeline of missing ships.
No, they carefully curate these historical incidents to establish a very specific operational pattern for this anomaly.
Let's look at how they categorize these disappearances because it's fascinating.
Yeah, reading through the source, I noticed they don't treat all vanishings the same. You essentially have two distinct categories being presented.
How would you define them?
I'd call them total spatial glitches and surgical extraction events.
Okay, let's unpack the spatial glitches first. The text points all the way back to the year 1500, during Christopher Columbus's fourth voyage.
Right, and the conditions start out idyllic. Clear sky, sea like a mirror.
But then, instantaneously, the sky turns dark. Waves dozens of meters high roll up like water walls out of nowhere.
But the critical detail the author highlights here isn't the sudden storm, it's the total failure of Columbus's navigation instruments.
Oh, the compasses just stop working.
Completely. The crew becomes totally disoriented. The ship drifts like a wild horse out of control for days. The technology meant to ground them in reality simply stops.
And we see this exact same spatial glitch mechanism jump forward in time to December 1945 with Flight 19.
Flight 19 is wild. Assuming you listening are familiar with the basic lore, Captain Taylor and the 5 torpedo bombers vanishing, what's important is why the author includes it.
Right, because Taylor wasn't some rookie. He was an expert pilot with over 2,000 flight hours. He didn't just get lost in some clouds.
His radio transmissions are the focal point in the text. He reports, quote, "My compass is not working."
And then he says something even stranger.
Yeah, he says, "I'm flying over land that is not connected. And finally, I don't know where I am."
That isn't a weather event.
Yeah.
That is a fundamental breakdown of spatial reality.
And the sheer scale of the erasure. 6 planes, including the massive rescue seaplane that supposedly exploded into a fireball, 15 pilots gone in 6 hours.
And a 5-day search with 300 planes and 21 ships found absolutely nothing. Not a single piece of wreckage.
That complete physical erasure contrasts so sharply with that second category you mentioned, the extraction events.
Oh, the ghost ships. This is where it gets super creepy. The author builds a case that this force doesn't just destroy indiscriminately. Sometimes it extracts.
What do you mean by extracts?
Well, they cite the Rosalie. In August 1840, this ship is found anchored. The cargo of fruits and silk is completely untouched.
But the crew is gone.
Everyone is gone. The only living thing left on board is a starving canary.
That is eerie. And then there is the Mary Celeste in 1872.
Now, the text notes this happened 100 miles west of the Azores, which is far outside the traditional triangle.
But they weave it in anyway to reinforce this specific mechanism of impossible extraction.
Right. The ship is found empty 11 days after a distress signal. But the scene inside is mind-bending.
The dining table is set with bread and butter. Coffee is still sitting in the cups.
A clock is still ticking.
And the craziest detail, there is a bottle of machine oil sitting perfectly balanced on a sewing machine.
The fragility of those objects is the key evidence for the author. Think about it. A massive storm or a rogue wave that washes an entire crew overboard would spill the coffee.
It would definitely knock over a bottle of machine oil.
Exactly.
It's exactly like a video game where all the non-playable characters suddenly glitch out and vanish mid-animation.
Yes.
The digital coffee cup is still hovering on the table, the ambient clock sound effect is still playing, but the code for the humans has just been deleted.
That is such a good analogy. Even the USS Cyclops in 1918 fits this pattern. It vanished with 309 sailors and a massive cargo of manganese ore without a single distress signal.
And then you have the La Dorada in 1935, which sailors on another freighter literally watch get swallowed by the waves, only to see it floating perfectly fine 5 days later.
Empty, I assume.
Completely empty.
So the author is meticulously showing us that this isn't random nature at work. By highlighting the spinning compasses alongside the perfectly balanced machine oil, they're implying a localized selective force.
And this is where the narrative shifts gears entirely. We move from the ethereal realm of missing people into the realm of tangible physical fingerprints.
We pivot from absence to presence.
Right. The author introduces physical clues documented by survivors, and honestly, this is where the argument shifts from a ghost story into pseudo-engineering.
Yeah, let's talk about the 1977 incident. A private seaplane flies over the triangle. They experience the standard compass deviation, sure.
But then the people eating on board suddenly notice their dinner knives and forks have physically bent.
Forks,
Yeah.
just sitting there. And later, they find intense, unexplained noise recorded on their tape recorder.
Then there's the maritime rescue captain. He reports a hyper-localized phenomenon. His diesel engine suddenly loses all power, the compass swings violently, and they are engulfed in extremely thick fog.
But here's the kicker. The moment he orders full speed ahead, and they break the boundary of that fog, the sea outside is perfectly calm and clear.
It's like a contained field of interference, just a bubble of chaos.
And then the text introduces the Dr. Jusa experiment from 1943.
Man, this completely changed how I was reading the document.
Oh, absolutely. According to the author, Dr. Jusa worked with the U.S. Navy using 2 extremely powerful magnetic generators on a ship.
And when they activated them,
Green smoke rose all around the vessel. The crew was subjected to intense, quote, stimulation.
which resulted in Jusa's eventual suicide, according to the text. And supposedly, the results were buried by the military.
We really need to look closely at the mechanics the author is implying here. By introducing powerful magnetic generators that produce green smoke and physiological effects on a crew, the text is suggesting humanity accidentally replicated the very mechanism that powers the Bermuda Triangle.
They're arguing it's an engineered machine. The green smoke sounds like an ionized atmosphere, like a massive electromagnetic discharge. If the Navy triggered a spatial glitch with magnetic generators, it implies the ocean itself is housing a much larger version of that same technology.
Which leads directly to the 1979 discovery cited in the text.
Ah, the pyramids.
Yes, U.S. and French scientists, backed by photos from Charles Berlitz of the Miami Museum, supposedly located a massive underwater pyramid on the seabed of the triangle.
A pyramid described as being larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt, just sitting down there.
But the critical mechanical detail the author includes isn't just its size. It's that high-speed seawater is rushing through 2 black holes in the pyramid structure.
So if we connect the dots of the author's logic, rushing seawater acts as a hydroelectric conductor moving through these geometric structures.
Generating a massive, localized magnetic vortex.
And that vortex is what fries Columbus's compass, what bends the dinner forks in 1977, and what creates the spatial field that swallows Flight 19.
We have moved entirely from a mystery to a mechanism. The author has systematically prepared the reader for a grand, structural explanation.
They really have. They've ruled out weather, they've introduced selective extraction, pointed to magnetic field disruption, and finally, provided the engine a submerged, water-powered pyramid.
All of this sets the stage for the absolute climax of the source material, the cosmological why.
And the ultimate answer the text impartially presents is staggering. I mean, it abandons maritime theories completely and just rewinds the clock 2 billion years.
2 billion. According to this narrative, the greatest creator sent angels, specifically categorized here as super celestial beings and Buddhas to Earth.
Buddhas and angels.
Yeah.
Just arriving on Earth.
Their mission was highly specific. They were sent as cosmic engineers to create non-human life forms. The text claims they spent 500 million years building life manufacturing laboratories along the 30-degree north and south latitudes.
And those laboratories are the pyramids. And the geography of the Earth was completely different 2 billion years ago. The author notes that these 30-degree latitudes weren't underwater at the time.
Right, they were massive land masses enjoying a mild, spring-like climate. It was essentially a sprawling global research park for celestial beings.
But 1.5 billion years ago, the project concluded. And this is where the author's wild theory of terraforming comes in.
Yeah, to protect the secrets of these manufacturing laboratories before departing, the celestial beings fundamentally altered the Earth's crust.
The analogy the text uses is so domestic but terrifying in scale. It compares their terraforming to children playing with mud or chefs kneading dough.
Kneading the Earth's crust.
They physically kneaded the Earth's crust to bury the evidence. They sank the land masses holding the pyramids to the bottom of the ocean and forcefully raised the seafloor to create our modern continents.
Pushing up structures like the Himalayas in the process.
It is a billion-year-old cover-up operation.
It's like paving over a hard drive to hide the data. The laboratories are still down there, but they are submerged beneath kilometers of ocean.
And that brings us all the way back to the vanished plains and the bent forks. The text directly compares the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle to the security measures found in Egyptian pyramids.
It argues that the triangle is an ancient, active defense mechanism.
The magnetic anomalies, the spatial glitches, the extraction of crews, these are the result of ancient preventative measures interacting blindly with our modern world.
It is basically a cosmic IT security system left running in the background for 1.5 billion years.
Exactly. A Navy bomber flies too close to the server room, the magnetic defenses kick in, the compass spins, and the plane is deleted from physical space.
But what I find truly fascinating is how the author resolves this. They conclude that these mysteries can only be understood from the perspectives of space and time.
That phrase, space and time, is the linchpin of the entire document. It reconciles the massive multi-billion-year cosmic lore with the starving canary on a ghost ship.
How so?
Well, if the pyramids operate by bending space and time to protect themselves, it explains why the physical destruction is so inconsistent.
Ah, I see.
Like a storm destroys the coffee cup, but a temporal spatial shift. It simply extracts the crew from our timeline, leaving the machine oil perfectly balanced on the sewing machine. The ship hasn't been wrecked, it has been bypassed.
Exactly. For the author, the macro and the micro operate on the exact same hidden architecture. The Bermuda Triangle defies modern physics in the same way the local ice cave on Sierra Mountain defies the summer heat.
They are both localized glitches, operating on rules that contradict their environment.
We have covered incredible ground today. We started by exploring a warm mountain in Hebei, where 3 caves operate like an impossible HVAC system.
We navigated the spatial disorientation of Columbus and Flight 19.
We examined the surgical extraction of human crews leaving untouched cargo.
We debated the mechanics of green smoke, magnetic generators, and massive water-powered pyramids.
And we ended with an ancient cosmic terraforming project executed by Buddhas kneading the Earth's crust like pizza dough to hide billion-year-old laboratories.
The sheer scale of the argument is just breathtaking. But, regardless of whether you listening accept this extraterrestrial blueprint, which again, we're just reporting on, the ultimate takeaway is observing how the human mind seeks to organize the unknown into grand, unified narratives.
We deeply resist the idea of random, chaotic tragedy. When our navigational instruments fail and the map breaks down, we don't just accept the blank space.
We fill it with cosmic engineering. We demand that the chaos has a purpose, even if that purpose is a billion-year-old security system.
It's a profound attempt to impose order on the terrifying vastness of the ocean.
So as we wrap up, what's a final thought our listener can take away from all this?
I want to leave you with a thought to mull over. Returning to the text's reliance on the mechanics of space and time. If we entertain the logic of this argument for a moment, if catastrophic anomalies like the Bermuda Triangle are truly the result of ancient, invisible architectures malfunctioning or grinding against our modern technology, what other mundane, unexplained glitches in our daily lives might be connected to that same grid?
Oh, that is a phenomenal question.
Think about it. When you drop a phone call for absolutely no reason in an area with perfect service,
Or when you lose a set of keys that you swear you placed on the kitchen counter, only to find them days later in a place you already checked.
right. When you feel a sudden freezing cold draft in the center of a warm sealed room, are those just random chaotic occurrences?
Or
Or Much like that unexpected ice cave on the side of a mountain, might they just be the invisible, frayed edges of an ancient blueprint we simply can't perceive? When the bedrock of reality glitches, maybe the machine isn't breaking. Maybe it's just doing exactly what it was programmed to do.
We're all just living on top of the hard drive. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the unknown. Stay curious, keep questioning the map, and we'll see you next time.